Hello, everybody.
Greetings and salutations.
I really like it in, I don't know if you remember, in the Arkham games when one of the goons will go, "Don't let him hit you, you idiot!" And they'd say it all the time.
How far in are you?
Oh, I'm literally just like at the intensive treatment bit.
A load of sand dropped on my head. I'm playing Minecraft, by the way, guys.
Yeah, we're splitting up the load. I mean, except he's doing some stuff in our Minecraft world and I'm playing Batman. Because
I physically can't play Batman.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might.
Fuck you, Rocksteady.
Nah.
To be fair, there was a multiplayer mode on Origins, wasn't there? Which was like really fucking bad, from what I remember.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I can hear a water zombie from somewhere. So I guess he's like on the outside of where I'm digging.
You know it's a trap.
I'm pretty sure I'm underwater at this point.
Ooh, got a character bio. So, yeah, special Batman episode. Number 1.
Yay!
1 of 2. I'm gonna... Why can't I solve the riddle, Majiggy? You're not gonna let me solve a riddle? Can I not do that yet?
Because you're bad at riddles.
Well, I'm at the bit where the cell with all the question marks. No, I'm not. Fuck you. With all the question marks in it, and I'm trying to scan it, but it won't let me. But, like, I'm really early in the game, so I'm trying to think, like, if it'll let me. But
Because he's bad at riddles.
No, I'm literally scanning it. This is a riddle. I think you need to... I don't know.
Well, it sounds like it's a riddle that you failed, I'm just saying.
Well, I've just found a trophy, so...
Excuses, excuses.
Yeah, so Batman.
Yes. That man.
We like Batman. Don't we?
We're a bit impartial.
Yeah, we're a bit partial to a bit of Bruce Wayne.
There we go. Oh god, I've built too much sand. Nobody can see what I'm talking about. But, sand. So we're talking about Star Wars now.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess let's start from the top.
Watched some movies maybe this week. I don't know.
Yes.
Did you watch any? Or are you just doing them from memory?
I watched both the Tim Burton ones.
Okay.
And Batman Forever.
Okay, I did.
So I didn't do Batman and Robin.
I did basically the same. But it hasn't been that long since I watched the Nolan trilogy, so they're kind of fresh too.
Okay.
The DCEU ones, I probably should have watched Justice League, but I didn't.
We're lucky to be alive.
Not sure if we're going to talk about that. I've seen all of Batman's scenes from Justice League, which I feel like is enough to talk about.
Well, we're talking about Batflick, aren't we?
Because we're not talking about the movie, we're talking about
Batman. Anything Batman-y.
Where are they?
The genesis of that character, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
I work better alone.
Ugh.
Exactly.
I really want to make this basement look pretty, but it looks like it's going to be so much work. I'm just going to go and burn down the other house that you made.
Fuck you. Oh, yeah.
What?
Go for it. So, yeah, we watched it. We thought we'd cover the first episode. We thought we'd talk about Batman 1989, Batman Returns, which were both directed by Tim Burton, and then Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, directed by Joel Schumacher, who passed away a few weeks ago.
Which I'm pretty sure I like a quadrilogy, right? They're meant to...
Yeah, they're supposed to all gel together. I think Michael Keaton... Sorry, not Michael Keaton. I mean, Michael Keaton was supposed to return in the third one with Tim Burton, but then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, but continuity-wise, they're meant to follow on. Because like I've got a box set of them as a Blu-ray, and it calls them a quadrilogy. So
yeah. Well, I think that... Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just saying. So I think we'll treat them as like episode 1 is that world, even though the worlds are very different.
Yeah. Well, I think that the only two actors that are carried over were the guy who plays Alfred and the guy who plays Commissioner Gordon.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Forgot all about Alfred.
You've got, which is it Michael Gough? Michael Gough? Something?
Yes.
Yes, good actor. Baby's first Alfred, for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what we'll talk about a little bit in it, is I think this was probably our first big screen version of Batman. There's a few aspects, I don't want to, like, say it all now, but there's a few aspects when I was thinking, I was like, oh, well, that, to me, is my definitive version of X. Sam! You made the house accessible to monsters. What are you doing?
Did I?
Yeah, you've got rid of our zombie trap and you put some stairs there, so now they...
Oh yeah, it's because my dog kept getting...
Now they can just walk up to the door.
Yeah, he couldn't get into the house. I felt sorry for him.
Bitch, fuck your dog.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna kill your dog.
Fuck you. You wouldn't dare.
These old gargoyles should be able to support.
Oh god.
All right.
It's so confusing now.
I'm about to fuck up Zaz. Glide key.
Smack him in the face.
I'll go in the back. That'll have to do.
It'll have to.
That'll
It'll
have
have
to
to
do.
do.
So yeah, I mean, I'll just fucking say it. I'll just fucking say it. Batman 1989 is my favourite superhero film of all time. It's probably my top 10 films of all time. And I think it's probably because it was my first Batman film, and it was the first film that like probably got me into superheroes. And I mean, a lot of it's nostalgia, but looking back on it, I do fucking love it still. Like it's a good movie.
Yeah, man.
Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson, a good trio, I'd say. Michael Keaton's obviously plays Batman, and you've got
Very interesting Batman, but one that I still like, despite being quite different than traditional Batman.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? But I think he does do it very well. And then you've obviously got Jack Nicholson as a Joker, who I'm going to just say it, he's my favourite Joker, and I think that probably is nostalgia talking, but I do really like him. I think he was a very good choice.
He's a very good version, yeah.
Yeah.
I fell in the water.
It's a very different version because obviously he's got a name. He's called Jack Napier, and he's the one who kills Bruce's parents in it. So it's a little different. But it works, I think, like an Elseworld story. That's kind of how I treat the Tim Burton ones. They're kind of Elseworldy in a way, but they're still quite Gotham-y. I don't know. I mean, I suppose every different movie thing is an Elseworld story. So
that is true.
But yeah, I do love me some 1989 Batman. It's fucking great. Like the gothicness. I mean, Tim Burton was probably the best guy to get at that point. I feel he managed to get that world and those characters and the look of it, just art, fucking art.
Yeah, the music specifically to me is probably the most amazing part of this movie, and the sequel, obviously the Danny Elfman ones. And I'm pretty sure the score comes into the Schumacher ones.
I think so.
I don't think the whole score is Danny Elfman on them. Let me look that up quickly. I can tab out for once without knocking you out of the Minecraft world. Yeah, it doesn't feel Danny Elfman in those later movies, but
no, it's definitely got some of the motifs.
Yeah, it feels different. It feels good. I like the music in Batman Forever. I can't think of any in Batman and Robin, to be honest.
No.
The Batman theme, obviously, but
yeah.
Music by Elliot Goldenthal.
Not a clue.
No idea.
But
but he did Batman Forever, and I'm going to assume Batman and Robin. Let's find out. He did the music for Batman and Robin too. But obviously they use some of the scores from the original, I think. Let me check. Let me check.
I feel like there are some, like I said, I think there's a lot of motifs. So yeah, maybe you're right, actually.
It doesn't say so here. We might be wrong. They might actually not use the Danny Elfman bit at all. Because I'm trying to think in my head. There is a very distinct Batman theme that comes in at the start and end of both Forever and Batman and Robin, which I think is different. The Danny Elfman one's the same one that they used for the animated series, right?
Yes, I think so. It's a pretty well-known score, isn't it? Because like they used it in yeah, they use it in like the Lego Batman games and all that. It's fucking iconic.
Yeah, that's.
I would go so far to say
that's more iconic to me than the that everyone does.
Yeah, and it's probably more iconic than the Hans Zimmer themes, I think.
Oh, by far. I mean, I've got nothing against Hans Zimmer. I think what he does is interesting. But Hans Zimmer's Dark Knight trilogy music doesn't focus very much on themes at all. It's more aesthetic. It builds like it builds a sound bed of different noises, and there's not like a musical motif, or if there is, it's very subtly buried in there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's something that score does to me, the Danny Elfman one, that the Hans Zimmer one doesn't, like, at all.
Yeah, well, when I think of Batman, I think that's that music.
Yeah, me too. The what's the tune? Is it Descent into Mystery? It's one of the tracks off the score. It's where the bit where like
Not
Batman's
sure on the
taking
names,
Vicky
I'm
Vale.
afraid, but
Yeah, it's a bit where like I'll play like a little bit of it here maybe.
this like aesthetic, I guess, this whole vibe is Batman to me. This is, as a kid, what Batman was, like, growing up with this music and those movies, the animated series. I was like, this is quintessential Batman. Like, when I read Batman comics, I imagined this type of music in the background. I imagined the grit and vibe of Burton's Gotham.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, Tim
because
Burton's
I was
not
born in 91, therefore this movie had just come out-ish.
Oh, yeah. Like about 2-3 years.
When did Batman Forever
crazy.
come out? That might have been just before, to be honest. Not Forever, the other one.
Returns. Yeah.
92. So yeah, Batman Returns came out when I was 1. When I was 1. I know how to
boy.
count.
I wasn't even conceived.
10th of July, so just slightly before I was 1. But yeah, I guess it's just odd to me to think that this movie just existed before I was born. Like, grew up in that era of Batman, I guess. So all the changes to the character in that decade is how I experienced the character first, before later I went back and saw the older comics and some of the more mature stories and such.
That's exactly the same with me. I don't actually particularly like Tim Burton as a director. I think all his films are just too fucking samey.
I like him a lot, but I agree with what you're saying. I don't care too much about a lot of his later movies because I feel like I've already seen them. But that doesn't make me not like the earlier ones as much.
His earlier ones are my
I still
favourites.
love the earlier ones.
Yeah.
Like The Nightmare Before Christmas is still one of my favourite movies. I'm quite impartial. I keep saying impartial. Quite partial to The Corpse Bride or Corpse Brides.
Yeah, I like Corpse Bride, actually.
Quite a fun little...
Frankenweenie's
I like his
alright.
live-action ones more, to be honest. Like, I liked Edward Scissorhands, and Beetlejuice is still one of my, like, probably top 10 movies. I'd fucking...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Beetlejuice.
I think his live-action stuff then was more experimental. Like, you can see the same tones in, but, like, Beetlejuice is a hugely different movie to Nightmare Before Christmas or even Edward Scissorhands. I mean, they both have, like, the weird loner character, but Beetlejuice is a very different character to Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. I totally forgot about Beetlejuice.
So I think he was a bit more experimental back in his heyday, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, and I think a lot of it is just like, oh, people expect me to make it all weird and gothic and have fucking Johnny Depp in it, so...
Yeah.
That's kind of the impression I got of him. But, saying that, you know, this is... 89 is one of my favourite Batman movies.
And it doesn't have Johnny Depp in it.
My favourite movie. Yeah.
As far as we know, he could be like some hidden extra in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
He just snuck him in there. We'll have a fucking George Lucas style special edition where everyone's like, the Joker's just Johnny Depp and Batman's also Johnny Depp, and it's about the duality of man. No, Tim, stop. Learn from George's mistakes, Tim.
Yeah, it's a...
Oh, and Mars Attacks. Mars Attacks is a fucking...
Oh, fuck yeah, I forgot about Mars Attacks. I always reference that with the bit where Tom Jones comes out at the end of the thing dancing. I always love that scene.
Does that have Johnny Depp? That doesn't have Johnny Depp in, right?
No, I don't think it does.
Oh, Jack Nicholson in there.
Yeah, it does. He's like is he the president? I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
James Dale, I believe.
What a fucking movie. But back to Batman. Yeah, I think I mean, as I say, I think he was the perfect director to get the tone. I mean, yeah.
Well, it feels like... I don't know. There's a lot of Burton in there, don't get me wrong. But it feels like he's holding back a little bit. Weirdly, it's one of the more grounded Burton movies.
In what way? I'm curious.
Well, like, obviously his movies are usually very experimental and almost, I would use the word psychedelic a little bit. Like, they're not grounded in reality. They're grounded in something supernatural or very, very... I keep going back to the word psychedelic. It's the only word I can think of. You know, like you watch Beetlejuice and you understand the basic story, but then there's like things where they go into the afterlife and it's just a complete fuck up and there's worms in the sand. You're like, what's going on? That's that's like a lot of Tim Burton movies are very trippy, whereas this isn't hugely trippy. There's got trippy moments, but it's one of the more realistic, grounded ones of Tim Burton's career. Not to say that it is a realistic or grounded movie, but for a Tim Burton movie, I would say it is.
He probably does more of the silly, crazy stuff more in Batman Returns. Not much, but there are some vibes of it, and we'll get to that when we...
Yeah, there's a lot of... the fight scenes are very funny.
Yeah.
The guy with the bomb in his pants.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got like Catwoman and her origins and stuff. I mean...
Yeah.
I guess
I'm not saying it's realistic in the way that like Nolan's is realistic.
Oh no, I know what you mean.
I just mean it's not like trippy. It doesn't like leave you guessing. Like when something weird happens, like someone has powers, you'd like, oh, I understand how they got powers because it's explicitly shown on screen. Whereas a lot of the time, Tim Burton kind of is almost like a low-key David Lynch, where he's like, well, I'll just do something ambiguous and weird-looking, and it'll be up to the audience to interpret. Whereas there's not a lot of that in these movies. It's very explicitly stated what's happening and why.
Yeah, totally. I get what you're saying. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, there's... If we're talking about 89, in terms of, like, scenes, I don't know, I feel like this film gets, like, kind of pushed under the rug a bit compared to some of the other films. And I think that's probably... But I'm like, I don't know, because I feel like there's some really, really fucking good scenes in this movie that people have looked like. The fucking Prince scene where Joker comes in dancing and they're all, like, spraying all the art and stuff. I love that.
I mean, I think one of the quintessential Batman memes, which is obviously important in our critical analysis of the movies, one of the quintessential Batman memes is the face. You know the one I mean.
Oh yeah.
You want to get nuts face.
Of course, yeah. Let's get nuts.
And I think it's not that scene, is it? It's him in the bat cowl, which obviously he doesn't have the cowl on.
Oh yeah.
But it's the same face, and it usually has that caption on it when I've seen it. But this is when I'll probably find out it's from Batman Returns, just to fuck me up. But yeah. Either way, I feel like I always tie those movies together anyway because they're both. To me, that's like it's a duality within a quadrilogy.
Oh yeah.
Those two movies to me are quite separate to Forever and Batman and Robin, even though they do apparently have
world.
Continuity. Yeah.
I wonder how Harvey Dent managed to change his skin color.
Yeah, it was interesting because again they are meant to have a continuity, I believe. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alfred obviously stayed the same. So
I think the plan in the Batman Forever Tim Burton was going to do was to have Billy D. Williams actually be Two-Face, and he was going to have a similar look.
Would have been
what
amazing.
Tommy Lee Jones had. Yeah.
I think I've seen concept art, but it could be fan art.
I think he would have been fucking great.
But it looked great.
Yeah.
I love fucking Billy D, and I would have loved to see him do a role like that.
He does come back as
Lego
Two-Face.
Movie, right?
Yeah, the Lego Movie, which like in a couple of lines, but I quite liked it. It felt quite nice.
Yeah, man. Nice little homage. But yeah, I would say these movies are better remembered than the latter two, than Forever and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I mean, I feel people only remember the latter two because of how crap they were.
Maymays.
Yes, and Maymays.
Everyone likes your Mr. Freeze puns.
Well, ice puns, yeah.
There wasn't as much of it in Batman Forever.
No.
There's some good lines, I just don't see them get memed as much as what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm surprised I don't see more people do the I'm Batman flap, flap, flap. You can put a GIF on screen or something.
Yeah, it's one of the best scenes.
Probably one of my most quoted Batman things of all time. Like, whenever I'm just explaining anything that revolves around insanity, I just start doing, I'm Batman!
And starts flapping your straight jacket.
Start flapping my coat or whatever I'm wearing at the
time. Yeah, I mean, I gotta briefly talk about, I guess, Jack Nicholson a bit more, because I feel like he...
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll do like a little mini bit on the acting in general, because I feel like it's warranted.
Yeah. I think he was superb. I mean, they were going to get Robin Williams at first, weren't they?
Yes.
And then, was it something to do with, like, money? And then he was like,
I don't remember the full story, but I do remember hearing that it was meant to be.
I mean, he would have been great, but I'm happy we got Jack Nicholson, to be honest, because if Nicholson hadn't played the Joker, I'd always be like, oh, that was a missed opportunity. The bit where he just walks into the, the office and he reveals himself. He's like, "You can call me Joker."
Jack. Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
It's a hell of a scene.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's having fun with it, and it's Jack Nicholson as well, and like he's a very established actor, and he just looks like he's having a ball.
I always really enjoyed the transformation scene because as a kid it was actually quite creepy.
Oh, a bit where he's like the mirror,
which they parody in
The Simpsons.
They parody it in a lot of things. I was going to say they directly parody it in Batman in War of Jokes and Riddles, where Riddler does it.
Oh, really?
I thought you'd read War of Jokes and
I
Riddles.
have. I just totally forgot about it.
Yeah, it's when Riddler gets. It's not really spoilers, but potential spoilers.
Is it when he gets the?
He gets shot.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he gets stitched up, and he has a scar. And that's when he breaks the glass on the mirror. He does the same thing where he's like, mirror, and the guy brings it over, and then he laughs, and he breaks the mirror and carves the question mark with the bit of the broken mirror after killing the doctor that's stitched up his scar, which is very out of character for Riddler. It's kind of weird, but obviously it was just meant to be a bit of a fun homage. So
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's interesting because I did not. I remember the scene, but I never thought about that.
Yeah, he does the exact same words as the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah, I think he was fantastic. I think one of the best lines is at the end where having the fight with Batman, and he just randomly out of nowhere just puts glasses on and goes, "Hey, you want to hit a guy with glasses?" And then Batman just fucking wallops him. It's just
I knew what you were going for.
Yeah, he has like. I don't know. I just feel like he was the perfect like comic Joker for me. Like, I mean, Mark Hamill's obviously a very comic-y Joker, but in terms of performance,
yeah, live action.
Yeah, he absolutely nails it. That's why I think he's my Joker, and I love Heath. I love Joaquin. We won't mention the other one.
What other one? There wasn't another one.
There was another one.
There was only 2 Jokers. Oh, there's another dog here now.
It's like Jared Leto.
Yes.
I know you play Minecraft, but...
oh god, can you imagine Minecraft Jared Leto dog?
Ugh. That's disgusting.
Just got his face and his shitty tattoos.
But I enjoyed Keaton as well, and like you're saying, Keaton's quite a unconventional Batman. But I guess
he works for it. He works in the world. It's just not who you would originally think.
No, I'd never put them together. Like,
What are you doing?
I don't know. I definitely wouldn't. I couldn't put them together.
Michael Keaton always has this like underlying manicness to me, which obviously you see in the scenes like the "you want to get nuts" scenes, and But there's other scenes where it very clearly comes through as well. He just always has this unsettling. He's much better playing someone that's villainous or crazy. Like his Beetlejuice is obviously fantastic for that reason. But I see a little bit of Beetlejuice in some of his acting in Batman, which I guess is the issue.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't like him in it. I still think he's quite a good Batman for what the world is. But it's hard to separate them.
I was going to say, I guess before we start to go on to the other films, I guess it's interesting to say that in all of the Batman movies, to my knowledge, Batman has killed someone. And obviously that's totally against Batman's character. But I don't know. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, he kills people."
I'm certain he has, but
yeah.
I don't know all of them. What are they all? I know the ones. I know the ones in the Burton ones where he's killed people. I'm trying to think of Batman and Robin.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to think. Now I'm thinking.
I'm almost certain
he
will have.
Yeah, I feel like I watched a video on it recently, and then I know him, but I just can't remember the examples. I know in the Dark Knight trilogy he does it quite a bit as well. And then obviously everyone was giving shit to Batfleck for it, and I'm like, yeah, but like, no, Bale did it. Keaton's funny though. I like Keaton when he killed people. I know like it's totally against Batman, but I just found them amusing as
just a good line. I like Keaton when he killed people.
He still killed. Yeah, he didn't kill people anymore. He's an actor. But
that was when he was at his peak, when he was a murderer.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose. I mean, we could talk about. I guess we talk about Batman Returns as well in between this because they're kind of sort of in the same vein as each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the sequel, but yeah. I mean, I think both performances were good. I actually really like. I can't remember what her name is. Kim Basinger or something as Vicky Vale.
Yes.
I quite like her performance.
Passenger, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. But I like her. I like her as this kind of detective who's looking into who Batman is and Bruce Wayne and stuff, and I like that mystery to it.
Yeah.
I always quite liked that. It always kind of made me think, oh, Batman's quite creepy, and so,
she's
one a hero.
Of the more, not forgettable, but forgotten love interest. I think nobody ever talks about her. They talk about Catwoman in Returns, obviously,
and you got Rachel in the Dark Knight trilogy, I suppose. Yeah.
And they talk about I can't remember her name. Chase something in.
Oh, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Forever. Yeah.
She has a really stupid name.
She's a doctor, isn't she? I think. Yeah.
Yeah. She's basically a Bond girl. It's very strange.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought she was really good. I really liked her. I think I think she's very underrated. She deserves more love. I really like Batman Returns. I prefer 89 Batman, obviously, as I said. But
I think 89's more structured, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a bad sequel in the slightest.
Oh, no.
I think it's a really good sequel, actually. I guess it kind of... There's a lot of, like... I like how they kind of, like, talk about Vicky in that film as well, you know, when Catwoman's asking...
Officer Bull's trail.
Like, they had a breakup and stuff, so I like that continuity. They don't just forget about her. Like a lot of the other films seem to do.
I was going to say, not like the other movies.
Yeah.
Vicky who? Selena who? What are you talking about? It's more funny that they just forget Catwoman in...
Oh, yeah, because she's just fucked soft, isn't she? Yeah.
Do they even have a line to Catwoman in Forever? Like, does he even mention Catwoman in Forever?
I think she was planned to come back as well in Burton's third Batman film. So next, although we do a spin-off, I think, with Michelle Pfeiffer. I think so, from what I remember.
Intriguing.
But yeah, she was great. She's my favourite Catwoman. I mean, there's like not many to pick from, but she's my favourite Catwoman.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm like, her.
There's one from Gotham.
Barry.
Yeah.
Gotham.
You got Anne Hathaway.
I guess there's two from Gotham if we're being pedantic, but
yeah.
Lily Cole's in one episode. And I don't think you. Did we see her in the Catwoman suit? I can't remember. She's Selena Kyle anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah. You got Anne Hathaway.
Oh yeah, Anne Hathaway.
She's very forgettable. She's very forgettable. I didn't even watch Gotham, and the fact I knew the Gotham one's like over her.
Yeah. And then I guess there's the game ones, but we're not talking about them yet, okay?
No. We'll do that in like another episode.
Although I think the Telltale one's very good, just as a note, I guess.
The what? Sorry.
The Telltale one's very good in my opinion, just as
I liked her. Yeah.
A note.
Yeah, I thought that Pfeiffer was the bomb diggity. I liked her origin in Batman Returns. It's very different, where she falls from the window and the cats bring her back to life and they give her 9 lives. I really like that. I know that's obviously very unconventional, but I really enjoyed that. And
she has a very, very delicately unique costume.
Yeah, I loved that as a kid. I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
It's a really fucking weird scene where Penguin's like watching her and he's like just looking at her ass while she's like licking herself. It's like, oh.
That wasn't in the script, that was just Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Danny, can you look up? No.
No! It's still in character.
Bites Tim Burton's nose off. God damn it, Danny! Not again! Medic, get him out! Don't get too full of yourself.
I mean, Dan DeVito. It only gets harder. What a fucking performance.
Yeah, my first thing I was going to say, but we kind of like slid into it, was that I think the villains in this movie are fantastic.
Yes, oh yeah. They doesn't feel overstuffed. I mean, I know there's only like 2 of them.
Massacre.
It was the first movie like this I can think of that did the juggling two super. I mean, there weren't many superhero movies around at the time.
No.
But it was the first one I can think of that was like, we're going to have two villains in our movie, and it's not going to feel like one of them's completely wasted. We'll get onto that later.
Yeah, they both they do both really work quite well in tandem. Actually, I feel they both serve a purpose. Obviously, Catwoman's a love interest as well, which I really liked, and then Penguin's like the main antagonist. But then actually, now I think about it, you got Max Schreck, fucking Christopher Walken. So that's three villains.
He's not a super villain, though.
No, but he's an antagonist, I guess. But
Yeah.
he works really well in the plot as well.
He is probably what I would call the villain of the movie.
Yes.
But I meant more like when people are thinking, am I going to go and watch that movie? They're like, what supervillains are in it that I know from the comics?
Yeah.
That kind of, like, it's the first one I can think of that was advertising itself as being like, oh, we have two of your favorite superhero villains.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Adam West one did the big supervillain team-up thing, but a bit different.
Yeah, very, yeah. That's
Just a tad.
way different. But I do feel that I do feel that Max Schreck actually is a very good villain, so he's not, a comic book character. I thought I hated him as a kid. I mean, I still hate him now. He's a horrible guy. Pushing Selina Kyle out the window. Pretty iconic. But he's great. He's brilliant. Great performance. And then obviously you got Danny, who's just... He's a very unconventional Penguin as well. But
Yeah.
I love it.
I think he paved the way for a bit of later Penguin in Gotham.
Yeah, being quite grotesque. I mean, I guess Penguin always was... In the comics, he's labelled as being ugly and stuff. But in this, he's grotesque. And I guess in Gotham, he's slightly grotesque as well in the way he moves and stuff.
Well, just like in the attitude, I guess, like Penguin in Gotham has no qualms with like physically assaulting and biting people and being quite animalistic when he's backed into a corner. And there are some kind of cannibalistic-y scenes in there relating to him. One of them is him feeding somebody else, but one of them is also him eating people, but against his will. But he doesn't seem like he's that fussed about it. So the Professor Pig era.
I've not seen that. I've seen a bit where he feeds, where he cooks the people. He does a Scott Tenorman. Yeah.
Penguin gets forced. Well, I thought you meant Professor Pig. Basically, this.
Oh no, sorry, I meant the bit where doesn't he cook the family or something in Gotham? I can't remember.
Yeah, Penguin does. Spoilers, by the way. Professor Pig basically ends up feeding the Gotham elite, which at the time includes Penguin. Food made from people, and Penguin's the one that steps up and is like grumpily just looks at him like, I don't give a shit, fuck you, and basically just stuffs it in his mouth, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very Danny DeVito. But we were going to talk about that a little bit with Batman Forever too, because there's some Riddler scenes which are heavily inspired by Batman Forever. A lot of Gotham, I think, is inspired by the Tim Burton movies.
Yeah.
The TV show Gotham, that is.
The Batmobile is still
It's one of the things I like the most about Gotham.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the city feels very Tim Burton-esque, doesn't it? Like very.
Thanks, Oracle.
In Gotham. I mean, I've only watched 2 seasons,
Yes.
but I think you can get the idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got a good vibe of you get more vibe of the city in the first season than you do in any of the other ones, I think.
Yeah, I felt Jeremiah as well when he's the Joker, or when he's like transitioning to Joker, he's got like the hat and stuff. He looks very Jack Nicholson-y as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of homages.
Yeah,
which I like. They never feel like too much. They're a lot more subtle than like the War Jokes and Riddles one, which is an official DC comic.
Yeah.
That's very on the nose with the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the Burton films have inspired maybe a bit more than the Schumacher one. Well, I think for good reason, I guess.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that Gotham came much later after the Nolan films, but I feel like there's a lot less of Nolan in there than there are of those original movies.
You'd feel like Gotham would want to maybe appeal to the Nolan, because I guess Nolan is, I mean, arguably people would say they're the best Batman movies, and I think some people are like, oh, let's try and do some Nolan-y stuff, but
narratively, I think I agree with that statement, but we'll talk more about it when we touch the Nolan ones, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess with Batman Returns, I mean, which one do you like? I mean, I already said which one I prefer, but which one do you prefer out of the two?
Oh, I don't know. I think I have more fun watching the 1989. I'll agree with you on that. I think there's elements of Returns that I like more. Aesthetically, I like Returns more. I think it's more Tim Burton finding his Batman world, what he wants it to be.
Yeah.
It feels more realized in Returns. Like, he tried it out with 89. He was like, right, well, this bit was a bit too weird, but this bit could use amping up, and he kind of perfected that formula in Returns, I think. It's like you said, iconically, the Catwoman transformation for me is like a scene that just sticks with you as being like, oh, that was really aesthetically interesting. That's quintessential Batman to me, I guess.
I love the bit where, obviously, at the start of the film, she comes home from work, and it's like she's getting home to a flat, and she hits, she's letting the cats in, she's complaining and stuff. And then, like, when she becomes Catwoman, she's the exact same thing, but, like, she's fucking manic, and she's destroying shit, and she's getting, I love those scenes, they were great.
Yeah, there's some similarities, I thought, with that and Uma Thurman's transformation in Batman and Robin.
There could be a clue.
Is that? Oh yeah, I guess she's like getting pushed around and she kind of comes back out and she's like, eh.
Just in the aesthetic, I'm saying, of obviously like helpless female character who's getting pushed around by male boss character, and then the way they come back is very much they basically die and are reborn. And it's in a very aesthetically similar way, where Catwoman's obviously comes back from the cats, and Ivy comes back from the entangled leaves and twines, and they both reappear in this kind of weird, almost seductive kind of way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as a small child.
You can say that again. Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I think as well, something you've mentioned to me before when we've been talking is that in Batman Returns, they've obviously set the film at Christmas. Yes. And it really fucking works.
I think I didn't say it, but that was what I was kind of talking about with the aesthetic as well, as I felt it fit very well with... I don't... Basically, I guess...
Monkey.
Yeah, I don't want to just say Nightmare Before Christmas, but kind of Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton knows how to make Christmas creepy.
Yeah.
Which I think is why this movie feels more realized in a strange way.
Yeah, I get you. I totally understand that. And I think that jump's really good because even like in Arkham Origins, they do the exact same thing on Christmas, and I think it really captures some magic.
Strange that they didn't think of that for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre. But yeah, I really appreciate them doing that. I think it fits the Penguin, I guess, in a way, because he's an Arctic animal. Let's not forget all the penguins with the rockets on their backs.
The real stars of the movie, you mean?
Yeah, they were fucking great. The fucking bit where he ends up dying penguin, and all the penguins carry him into the pool. That bit just brings a tear to your eye.
Thanks.
I cried when I was a kid.
Ruined my holiday.
I generally cried that when the first time I watched it. I was terrified the penguin, but seeing all the penguins sad just generally made me sad. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's very strange. Tim Burton's good at that, I think, is making you feel sympathy for very unusual, freaky characters.
Yeah, I mean, you do feel sympathy for Penguin, because he's a fucking monster, and he gets thrown away by his parents.
Obviously, you feel some sympathy for Catwoman, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't scary in the same aesthetic sense, but she's meant to be a villainess.
Yes.
But you can understand where both of them are coming from in a strange way. Which is why I think it's quite fun, like we said, that the main villain of this movie is just a man.
Yeah.
Just a greedy man. That's it. He's not a superhero. Yeah. He's not a monster. He's just a relatively greedy business owner.
And you know what? I really like the fact that Penguin in this, I never got the impression that he wanted to be mayor at all. I don't think he did. He just wanted to be accepted.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like that. It's Shrek that's kind of egging him on to do it and saying, "Oh, I know, but you'll be loved with it." I loved that. I thought it was great. And it gives you more sympathy for Cobblepot.
Yeah, he's weirdly has more sympathy than the Gotham one in some degree.
Yeah.
The Gotham one has a lot more humanity to him.
Yeah.
but because of that humanity, he's also more accountable for his actions.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you see, the Gotham Penguin, the Robin Lord Taylor Penguin, which, by the way, fantastic portrayal of Penguin. Just throwing that out there.
Agreed.
When he goes for mayor out of a lust for power.
Yeah.
The idea of the people loving him comes into it much later with Ed pointing out to him that it's proof that people love him, whereas he initially just went into it out of, well, I just want the power. I just want to be mayor.
Yeah. Which is superb, I think, in this. I'm looking at Harley's ass.
Aww!
I wasn't.
I can't see. I'm going to enjoy watching this one back when it gets uploaded. Your dog's just sat on a treasure chest upstairs and he hasn't moved.
Yeah, I kept him there.
Okay. As long as he's meant to be there.
So, yeah.
I guess we'll slide into Batman and Robin? Batman Forever, even?
Batman Forever.
So this is where things start to get interesting.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to probably get a bit more mixed opinion, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It slowly goes downhill. I mean, quite fastly, sorry, actually. But
yeah, I was surprised rewatching it, to be honest. It was more rewatchable than I thought it was going to be.
Well, this is the thing. I remember being in uni one time, and our lecturer asked us a question, and he said, which movie, which is known to be terrible, do you quite find charming and you still like? And I said Batman Forever, and my lecturer just laughed at me. And I was like, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty fucking bad movie, but it's got a lot of charm to it, and I like watching it back. And I enjoy watching it back in preparation for this.
I'm not sure if I'd go as far as you, but I agree that it's better than Remembered. I don't know if I'd refer to it as good.
Charming. It's not a good movie, no.
It's got some charming scenes. I don't think I'd call the overall movie charming, personally.
Okay.
Obviously,
I mean, it's nostalgia as well for me. I put nostalgia goggles on. So.
I mean, this was my favourite Batman movie as a kid, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
So I should have more nostalgia, if anything.
I used to love it a lot more than
this
what
was
I do now.
more than 89 for me by far, because I was obsessed with the fucking Riddler. I was obsessed with Jim Carrey. I was obsessed with his portrayal. Like, this movie was like everything to me, and I think if you did a supercut of this movie, it would be charming. But there's about 20 to 30 minutes in the middle of this movie that drag like hell.
Which
everything from like the introduction of Robin to when we get back to like the party with Nigma's party, like it's just so slow with Robin.
Yeah, you're right.
Walking around the Batcave and playing around with the cars and feeling sad for himself and being a bit of a dick, and it's like we get it. You could have done this in 5 minutes, but it's about 20 minutes of scenes of fucking Chris O'Donnell or whatever it is. I'm like,
Chris O'Donnell, yeah.
I was like, can we at least intercut it with more fight scenes or other stuff? I think they intercut it a little bit with that bit where Batman goes out and he ends up getting buried in the sand.
Got to save them.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a very good fight scene either.
No.
Like, all of that, like, I would love to get to the bit where they introduce Robin's family dying, and then I would love to just skip to the party with Ed Nigma.
Yes, that was really good.
Like, all of that bit in the middle, like, it's literally, to me, it's like Tatooine in A Phantom Menace. It just makes the movie almost unwatchable for me as a rewatch, because it just drags. I'm like, I'm not having any fun. Like, I was just waiting for it to end to get to the next bit.
Yeah, no, totally.
So I think there's charm in it if you did a supercut that cut out most of that stuff, or at least cut it down to like 5 minutes so you understood the narrative without repeating itself all the time. And then they do it again in fucking Batman and Robin. But we'll
they do. I was
they do it
say
twice
that.
in Batman and Robin, because they do it with Robin, and then they do it again with Batgirl. It's like, no, you took the worst part of the last movie and you doubled it.
Do you know who Robin reminds me of in this movie? James Hurley from Twin Peaks.
Robin was always cool.
Sometimes I just want to get on my bike.
I fully agree with you. That's why I laughed.
Yeah.
Looks more like a torture room.
Yeah, he's a little bit too emo, and I think this was before emo was even a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable to watch. It's hard work.
Robin's not likable in this film for me at all. Like,
no.
I kind of like Val Kilmer as Batman. I don't know what you
Oh,
think
I
about
do.
that.
I do a lot, yeah.
Yeah. I think...
I like him a little bit more than Michael Keaton, I'm going to say.
Really? Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
I think he pulls off Batman better than Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton pulls off Bruce Wayne better.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because I do view them as two characters, for what that's worth.
I should say Michael Keaton, I think, is a good Bruce Wayne.
Michael Keaton's almost a little bit too manic when he's Batman. That's my whole thing that I was saying before. Like, it's hard for me to separate when he's being Batman and then he does those crazy eyes, like in the meme we talked about. And you're like, Batman's a bit unhinged here, man.
Yeah.
Like, usually Batman's very stoic and doesn't show his emotion as much. Val Kilmer's playful, but he's playful in a subtle way, like he's holding back.
Yeah, he reminds me a bit of the Kevin Conroy one.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I see that.
He was kind of an unexpected choice, but yeah, I didn't mind him. I would have liked him if he'd continued playing him, actually.
Definitely more than George Clooney.
Robin.
But again, we'll get to that.
I guess let's talk about Jim Carrey and a bit more, because...
Yeah, well, I guess we'll...
Was this supposed to be Robin Williams as well?
We'll do both together. I think this was meant to be Robin Williams. This might be the only... I don't know if I've actually heard that Robin Williams was supposed to be Joker. Like, I'm not saying that isn't true, but I think I was confusing that with this when I agreed with... and I was like, yeah, I remember that.
I think he got asked for both, yeah.
I imagine he did. Like, it would make sense, because he was that kind of talent at the time.
Yeah.
But I think the only one I've actually heard about is the Riddler one. But let's talk about them together, because this was what I was talking about when I said last time. I keep saying last time as though we're splitting these into separate... last movie. That Batman Returns does very good at balancing two villains in a way that doesn't underuse one of them. I don't think this does.
No.
I don't know about you. Tommy Lee Jones is completely pointless in this movie.
I was going to say, Two-Face, just like he feels like, because obviously he's in the first scene, isn't he, when, you know, they're setting it all up, and he feels like he works there. He feels like one of those, like, one-shot villains.
It feels like that should have been what he is, like Scarecrow is in Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like, he should have been at the start to introduce Batman, and then we should have moved on to the next villain. Literally exactly like the basic of the Dark Knight.
The Riddler is the villain of this.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Two-Face is like, becomes his lackey.
Two-Face becomes a complete joke. Like, he's too funny. It's like, I'm going to do this and hopefully it'll make sense. 90% of the movie is Tommy Lee Jones going,
It's the bit where he comes. Yeah, it's the bit where he kind of comes, where Riddler gets into his lair.
People just say things to him, and then he goes,
he's like, "Oh, yeah." That's all I remember. Like, I can't remember any iconic lines from him.
And I don't remember at any point him acting like Harvey Dent. Like, there's no duality to him. He's just that crazy guy that goes, "Ooh, a lot."
Kill the bat! Sounds like a good idea. But have you thought it through?
He's not my Two-Face.
He's just Two-Face. There is no Harvey Dent personality.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Absolutely.
And then he's just completely wasted. Like, he just... all I can think is the scene where he just... Fucking Nigma knocks the brain box on his head, and it's just him going, oh,
and his face is like,
that's basically him in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And then... spoilers, but I mean, all of this is going to be spoilers, I guess.
I mean, everyone knows these movies.
If you're watching this, I'm hoping you've seen these movies, because that's the point of this. And then they just fucking kill him off at the end, really unceremoniously.
He just falls into a pit, doesn't he?
But it's straight up murder. Like, they're like, oh, Two-Face is flipping his coin. If I throw loads of coins at him, he'll die and fall off this thing.
I guess that's the moment.
Well, it was an accident. He technically killed himself by his obsession. It's like, no, you knew what you were doing. You just killed him.
I guess that's kind of the death of Forever that I thought.
Yeah, I could remember that one. I'm just trying to think of
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Joel Schumacher. I mean, I got to give him props because he did make my childhood, and sadly he passed away a few weeks ago. But god damn it,
he's an interesting guy. I'm not saying these movies are inherently bad either. Like I said, there's some gold in them. I mean, I enjoy watching Tommy Lee Jones going, "Ooh, wow!"
Yeah,
but it's not a good Two-Face. It's just funny to watch.
He felt like a goon.
Yeah,
he didn't like and he has his own goons. Is it Sugar and Spice?
Yes. Oh,
yeah, Sugar and Spice. I'm pretty sure they're called something like that. Yeah.
The elevator appears to have been
with his big titty goth girl, and then his like OnlyFans girl. That's all I was thinking when we were watching them. I'm like, yeah, these are like the women of today. The OnlyFans girl and the big Tony Goth girl.
That was Two-Face's real plan if Nigma hadn't come along. To dominate Gotham through OnlyFans. Everyone's a simp.
All his captions are just, ooh, ah!
Everyone's given Sugar and Spice all the money.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to rob any more banks. He's just getting it all normally.
He's just really miserable.
But yeah, he has, like you said, the whole intro segment with the bomb is really interesting. They kind of, again, I'm just going to try and talk about this and Batman and Robin together like we did with the last ones, because I feel like it's easier. They do a kind of similar thing at the start of Batman and Robin with the museum robbery, is it?
Yeah.
It's a very similar opening montage, and it ends very similar. In Batman and Robin, obviously, they end up flying into fucking space with the bomb. But it's basically, they just were like, let's do the opening of the last movie, but bigger.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is good. Like, I actually think it's quite entertaining in this movie. But in Batman and Robin, it's like, well, we just seen that in the last movie, and you're just trying to outdo yourself. You're just knocking it to 11. It's like, it's a bit over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I like that bit where he's like Two-Face is talking to that, you know, is it the cop? Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that bit. And then it just kind of gets silly. That's like the only bit where he does have a bit of intrigue to him, and then he's just made into a goon. And it's quite sad because Two-Face is my favourite Batman villain, without a doubt. I like the look. I know it looks really bizarre and ridiculous, but it looks very comic booky. Like,
I really enjoyed the colour scheme. I enjoyed the purple, and I think it blended very well with Riddler's green, which as a kid I was like, I just really loved the colour coding of this movie. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a bit over the top now watching it, but even then, like, I like it as an aesthetic. I'm like, it's silly, but I still like it. I still think it's pleasant to look at. And this is where I think these movies tie into Gotham, is Gotham borrows that very over-the-top neon-y colour scheme a lot for a lot of the things that happen in it. Anything that's kind of out of the ordinary, like if you go to a chemical plant, the chemical plants in Gotham are all neon green water, very cartoon, like not like you would actually see in an actual real-life chemical plant that would just look like water or something. They're all like neon green with smoke coming out of them, which is the same as these movies. This and Batman and Robin both do that a little bit. Like, there's a bit in Batman and Robin with Ivy setting up her den where she steals it from those thugs with the skull paint.
Yeah.
And the skull paint's all like fluorescent, and they've all got fluorescent light. They're like rave thugs.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
That's basically the aesthetic of these two movies, is like neon, bright color, weird. And I feel like a lot of that seeped into Gotham, which I like.
Yeah.
But Gotham makes it feel less silly in a strange way. They still have a bit of a laugh with it, but then someone will cut someone else's throat, and you're like, oh, this is actually gritty and weird.
Yeah.
I like that balance in
Can't
Gotham.
forget about that.
I like Gotham a lot, for what that's worth. I just ordered all the Blu-rays today.
Oh, Gotham.
They're coming tomorrow. Just as an adage to prove that I am quite a fan of Gotham. It's got a lot of things that it does wrong, don't get me wrong.
Oh my God.
So we probably won't go into Gotham as a whole thing, I assume. It's a bit too tongue-in-cheek at times, and it definitely you can tell it's a show that's getting written as it goes.
Yeah, I think that was my problem with it, to be honest.
But they recover very well most of the time. Like,
it's got lots of good.
A lot of the stuff
sprinkles.
that I know you had an issue with later gets explained in a way that is satisfying. Like, you can look at it and you're like, okay, that actually does make some sense. I can suspend disbelief and accept that as the reason why this thing happened.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of it, it feels pretty conclusive. The last episode's garbage. Watch until episode 11 of season 5. Episode 12 is just an entire episode of fan service that's pointless and feels really stupid. By the way, there's Meridian. It was Chase Meridian.
Oh, the Nicole Kidman's character.
Yeah.
Wait, Shaq. The first thing we should have talked about this movie was the obvious, the Seal song, "Kiss from a Rose."
Oh, yeah.
How did we not?
I was going on a totally different tangent there because I had the names up. But we'll go into Kiss for a Rose first, and then I'll get back to my other bit of trivia for this movie.
Oh, go on. I mean...
Okay, well, just the head doctor at Arkham Asylum is Dr. Burton, which is obviously a little homage to our director that came before.
Yeah, even though they pushed him out, basically.
Yes, but it's nice of them to at least be like, we'll give him a nod that we acknowledge.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, Drew Barrymore was one of Two-Face's assistants.
Wait, was she?
I completely forgot about that.
Which one was she?
She was Sugar. She was the.
No fucking. How did I not realise that rewatching it?
Yeah,
Holy shit!
I want to talk about the most important thing in Batman Forever. How does Jim Carrey dye his hair so quickly for the party?
It's a trap. I know.
I don't know.
Because he's clearly not wearing a wig as the Riddler. He has bright orange neon hair. And then he holds a party for Gotham's elite and he has slicked back natural brown hair. And I'm like, and then the next scene he has fluorescent. I'm like, have you got like hair chalk or something? Like, what do you...
Yeah, he does a lot of crazy stuff with his hair, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just switches straight. Like, he has long hair at the start, doesn't he?
Yeah.
When he's a bit weird.
Yeah, he's... I mean, if we're talking about the Riddler... Like,
yeah, well, we've talked about Two-Face, so we'll slip it to the Riddler now.
Oh, one last thing I do want to mention about Two-Face, actually, is I really like the bit where...
I'm not even doing anything, it just caught at my fucking foot. Right,
something that kind of... I mean, it's kind of expository, but the bit where they're explaining how Two-Face became Two-Face in that little video, that news report that Bruce is watching, it's very, like, small, doesn't take too much away.
Oh, yeah.
And I quite like that. I like that idea of introducing villains like that, you know. If you can do a...
Oh, no,
because,
I think it's preferable to...
doing the whole origin thing.
Yeah, it's... I wouldn't say it's preferable to The Dark Knight, because obviously they did something interesting with him in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
His introduction was tied to the story. But it's basically, they kind of do that same scene in Dark Knight almost at the start with Salvador, whatever it was, what was his name? What's his name? The Mafia,
Maroni.
Is it Maroni?
I think it's like... maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's Eric Roberts, isn't it?
I can handle these in real life.
And he tries to shoot Harvey on the stands, and then the gun doesn't work.
Yeah.
In The Dark Knight. And I always thought that scene was very close to the acid attack in this. But obviously in this one it was a gun, and then the gun didn't work, which was... It was almost like they were saying, hey, look, here's a little nod to that Batman Forever scene, but no, we're not doing it that way.
Yeah.
Because in the comics it's Maroni that does it, and I'm pretty sure in Batman and Robin they say it was Maroni that did it, right?
Yeah.
So in The Dark Knight they have Maroni go to shoot him in the face, but then it fails. And they end up twisting his origin in that regard.
I mean... I like the idea of, you know, because a lot of people know these origins off by heart now. They've seen that many times. So I like the idea in the future of doing something like that, just to say, oh, look, this is how it came to be in this, like, 3-second clip. So if you are confused, there you go. If you're not, cool.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the... Like, most of our introductions to villains, at least as a kid, for me, most of my introduction to supervillains were that they had already existed.
Yeah.
And then Batman would talk about how they came to be. Like, we didn't always see their origin in a lot of the comics. Obviously, the comics had existed for longer than I existed. So when I was reading these stories, I was like, oh, why does that guy do that? And then I'd look into it and I'd be interested to learn, oh, that's why that guy can turn into fucking clay.
Yeah.
And the animated series, I mean, I didn't watch everything in order either. So sometimes there was, obviously I just watched them when they were broadcast on telly. So sometimes there was a villain that was just acting like a villain and I didn't know why, because I'd missed his origin story. I don't even think they do origin stories for everyone in
No, they don't.
the animated series. They do for some of them.
Yeah.
But I think they do. It's been a long time since I watched the animated series, but I think they do a little bit of that in the animated series where he looks it up on the back computer, right?
Yes.
The back
do little bits like that with some of them. Me love that computer. I guess, yeah, Jim Carrey then. What a boy.
Yeah, it's a mixed one for me. It's an odd one, because I love Jim Carrey. Well, I did back in his heyday. He's a bit of a lunatic now.
Yeah.
He has some strange mixed opinions now. Sometimes I agree with him, and sometimes I think he's completely insane. But I liked him as an actor, at the very least.
Yeah, of course.
But
and I think
the Riddler's my favourite villain because of him. Because of this movie. was what got me into the Riddler, interestingly. Then I went and read the comics, and I fell in love with what I would call the real Riddler.
Yeah.
And it makes it very hard to say that his portrayal is a good Riddler.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm in the same vein where I was like, oh, I love this guy. It's kind of how it was with Two-Face as well. I was like, oh, I love Two-Face. Then Two-Face was just a goon in there, but like, I loved him, and I thought, oh, I want to look into him more. And then I was like, oh, I like this. I like this even more. It's the same thing with the Riddler.
Yeah, because I always enjoyed the idea of... I think I've just always had a thing for, like, the underdog villain, you know? Obviously, at the start, he's a beaten-down Wayne Tech employee who doesn't get his ideas. He's basically the Catwoman of this movie, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always liked that, where you could almost sympathise with them at the start, but by the end of it, clearly they've pushed it too far. But there's something where you can still at least respect where they were coming from. I don't know, those dual villains, I liked that. But then the more I read about him, the more I realised that he was a much more sympathetic villain than portrayed in this. Like,
yeah,
they don't really touch on anything like his obsessions in this movie, which is sad, because to me that's the most interesting part about the Riddler, is that he's almost chained to himself. Like, the Riddler's biggest downfall is always the Riddler.
Yeah.
But they don't really do that too much in this one. They just kind of blow up his machine.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have the same poetry,
and his
does it?
head goes all weird and stuff, and it's...
I don't know why his head goes all weird.
That bit was fucking weird to me.
It's never explained.
Or the bit where he looks like, when, like, the thing is finished, like, being destroyed, and you see him, like, he's all like a weird, like, mongy corpse on the floor going...
He looks like, I can't remember the actor's name. I know that when he's turning into the leader in the Incredible Hulk MCU.
Oh yeah, the guy from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I know who you mean. I can't. He's in Buster Scruggs. Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but I know who you mean.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And his head's bulging from the radioactive stuff that falls in it.
Yeah.
That's basically what when it happened. I was like, oh, it's the Riddler. But yeah, it's an odd one for me, because I'll always love the Riddler as my favourite character. Favorite Batman villain, at least. But yeah, I can't in good conscience say that it's a good portrayal of the Riddler, but it is my gateway drug to Riddler-ness, so I can't hate it either.
I suppose it's nice to watch it as, like, nostalgia, but yeah, he's not really the Riddler, in the same way Tommy Lee Jones isn't really Two-Face.
I mean, he plays it much more like the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting Paul Dano as the Riddler in the Matt Reeves Batman, and I'm actually really excited for that, because I think he's a great actor. I'm just hoping...
big hype.
Yeah, they don't do anything silly. It's like with Colin Farrell's playing the Penguin. I'm like, oh, these are two really good castings, actually. I'm just hoping they can make them unique enough, but still make them true enough to the characters.
It's Michael Corey Taylor, I think, in Gotham, isn't it? Who's
he's really good.
My favourite portrayal, live action. I just think he's fantastic. I mean, if I was rating them, I'd say him, then probably Gorshin, and then Carey.
Yeah, and Tennant in our minds, you know, in our dreams. Tennant would be the other Tennant. Oh,
is it? Do you pronounce it Frank Gorshin? Is it?
I think it's Frank Gorshin. Yeah.
I know it's spelt like that. If I'm butchering his name, I'm sorry. But yeah, because he does a lot of the Jim Carrey Riddler stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's other episodes of the Adam West series where they do suit him up and they tone him down a little bit, and he does seem a bit more Riddlery. He's still very tongue-in-cheek. They never delve into the depth of the character. But I like that they at least... they gave him the aesthetic that I think later became quintessential Riddler to me, which was the question mark suit with the bowler hat. That was the first time it happened live action, was Gorshin. Yes. And I don't like it when they do it in Batman Forever. I think he looks even weirder when they put the bowler hat on him and he's wearing a suit with tights, and it's like...
And his eye mask looks really weird as well.
It unnerves him. I don't like it. Make it stop.
I really like the Riddler in...
That was my Two-Face again.
I like you went, oh, as the... That's the bit in the game where you see all those, like, doctors and they've all got the fear gas on them. And one of the insane guys just like smashed against the screen, and you just went, "Oh!" as you did that. It was really amazing.
It's a shame Two-Face isn't in this game.
In Arkham,
he's in City, isn't he? But he's not in.
Yes, he is. He was played by Troy Baker in that, I think.
I'm not sure. I believe you. I don't know the voice actors for Arkham very well, I'll be honest. I know the main two, obviously. Conroy and Hamill, but I can't even remember who played the Riddler in that.
It was Wally something or other?
I remember very much liking his voice.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was really good. I really liked the Riddler from The Batman.
He sounded like Neil Patrick Harris.
It was good. He'd be a good Riddler.
And I always thought Neil Patrick Harris would be a fantastic Riddler. So when the Arkham Riddler sounded like Neil Patrick Harris, I was like, good. There's a Smashing Pumpkins song in this too, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I don't know which one it
it's
is,
like the end is the beginning is the end is the beginning is the end is the beginning.
I love that
I don't know
tune.
which order it's in.
I remember
the name's too long.
Trailer,
I know that.
and I love that. Yeah.
I think it's the end is the beginning is the end, right?
Might be.
They do it. They do one of them twice. I'm sure that's the thing. It's either the end is the beginning is the end, or the beginning is the end is the beginning. And I'm pretty sure it's the first one.
It's such a weird song to use in this film, though. Like, I really like that song.
I fucking love the Smashing Pumpkins, and that was my first Smashing Pumpkins song, and I didn't even know who it was. I didn't know they were the Smashing Pumpkins. I didn't care much about that music, like pop music, as a kid, weirdly. As a kid, I was into soundtracks, so I listened to the Danny Elfman stuff, and I listened to John Williams scores of, like, Jurassic Park and shit. But it wasn't until I was a teenager that I went back and got into pop music, and I was like, oh, I like this Today song that's on no, it was Cherub Rock, wasn't it? That was on Rock Band.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Or Guitar Hero, one of the two, whichever one.
I think it was.
And I was like, I'm going to check out this Smashing Pumpkins band, and then they literally became my favorite band for about 5 years. I was obsessed with Smashing Pumpkins, and it was so weird when I looked back and I was like, oh, they did the song for Batman Forever. I didn't remember it being in Batman Forever. I only remembered because obviously, when I went back and watched it, I was like, that's the Smashing Pumpkins. What? But, I only remembered because it kept coming up on the soundtrack when you looked at the... I think it was in iTunes, because it was before SoundCloud. What the fuck's the thing we use? Spotify. I'm very tired today, guys. I'm sorry. Before Spotify, and I think the iTunes artwork was the Batman Forever artwork. That was why I kept being like, so that's a movie from there.
That's very strange because it just does not. It feels it just does not fit the tone at all. Ooh, I'm in the Scarecrow level.
U2 as well, apparently.
U2. Well, I mean, U2 is shit, so it kind of goes well with this.
Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me by U2.
They really tried to amp up the commercially side of this film, didn't they? I mean, they're all very commercially, but Scarecrow. Hi, Scarecrow.
Hi.
How you doing? There. I can't believe how hint Scarecrow is in this game.
We're wrong. Just to clarify,
what?
before we move on, we were wrong. That song's in Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a nice segue.
So I was thinking, I was like, I don't remember hearing it, but I did stop this rewatch before I got to the credits. The credits started, and I was like, right, that'll do.
Batman and Robin then.
Batman and Robin. So the Smashing Pumpkins are in There's Bat Nipples. There's a Bat credit card.
There's Bat George Clooney.
Yeah, with his Bat Nipples and Bat credit card.
Yeah. What happened?
No, it's just not. It's not a very good movie.
No. Fuck's sake! How does that keep happening? Holy shit!
I mean, Uma Thurman was my sexual awakening. So I guess it left an impact on me more than any other movie. That's why.
Five for our Thurman.
I was too young when Batman and Robin came out. I was only in rewatches when I rewatched Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, when Batman and Robin came out, I was 6. So that's still pretty young.
Would you say that Thurman is better than Pfeiffer?
I don't.
In terms of looks, in terms of hotness.
Like in these movies or in real life?
In real life. Oh no, in like the movies. Sorry, yeah. Catwoman or Ivy.
In the movies, I probably it's the only thing I'm attracted to Uma Thurman in. I don't find it that attractive. Like I said, it's very strange for me because I was a very young child and it was the first time I'd seen a half-naked lady dancing around on screen, and I was like, I feel things that I've never felt before. And yeah, that led me down a very dark path. So yeah, it's got a weird place in my heart, I guess.
Yeah, I get you, man.
But in real life, I would say Pfeiffer's definitely much more attractive.
Yeah, I'd say Pfeiffer.
Uma Thurman's an attractive woman. She's just not my type. She's a little bit too pointy for me. Like,
it's a lot of work done as well. I think Pfeiffer has as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I think she has now. I'm just talking more like in the day.
Yeah.
But
why can I not do anything
in
this
Pfeiffer
game?
was quite attractive in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm just going to say.
Oh, yeah.
I typed in... Oh no, never mind. I'm still on the Smashing Pumpkins thing. I was confused. I thought I'd typed in Uma Thurman and it was a picture of Billy Corgan, and I was like, why? And I was like, oh, I hadn't clicked enter, that's why. Billy Corgan's my favourite Batman villain. He's super hot.
I'm getting so confused with this game. I'm on the Scarecrow level, and for some reason, I just can't glide. It just won't let me glide.
I can't help you.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there we are. That's fine. I did it. I don't think I'm supposed to glide. I was going to say the bit where, you know, she dies and then she comes back to life. I like that bit in particular.
Yes. Well, that was what I was saying when she's like half naked and she comes out the plants and she's like, and I was like, huh. Like, I've never felt this before, but I feel these things. What do now?
And then you got Bane.
And now I'm a sex pest, so thanks, Uma Thurman. Thanks for ruining me.
She did the bad thing.
Thanks, Bane.
Yeah. Fucking Bane in this was... But the bit where he's like driving the car and he's in like a little like journalist coat and a hat. It's funny, I'm about to fight Bane.
Like I said, I hadn't rewatched this one, so I had to take a second to think, and I was like, no, yeah, I remember that. And he still has a fucking mask on. Oh,
yeah.
Stupid. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, I'm about to fight Bane.
He still has
so
more personality than Tommy Lee Jones is stupid.
Yeah.
It's what do you want? Do you want... Or do you want... Imagine a conversation between the two of them.
Oh.
Well, you get that little nod when they're in Arkham, don't you? And you see Riddler and Two-Face's costumes on the wall.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice little Easter egg.
Nice little moment. Yeah, we'll brush over this one a little bit, I guess, but there's not much I would recommend on Batman and Robin other than Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Clooney's fucking horrible.
Absolutely horrible. You get twice as much Chris O'Donnell, Robin emo.
That fucking bit with the motorbike race, that's the bit that drags for me.
I don't know why that's in there.
I don't.
It's like all of these movies did pod racing before pod racing was a thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all the people in the comments. Pod racing is the best part of the movies. Which is good, because we never get anyone in the comments, so thanks.
Thanks, guys. Give us your hate.
If we piss off more people, maybe we'll get more comments. But yeah, it was bad. And then, doesn't Batgirl do it too, or does she go out to save Robin? Is that what happens? I can't remember exactly.
No, Robin goes out to save her, doesn't he?
She's the one that goes out in the race, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she's a rebellious kid. And Robin's a rebellious kid too, but he's got a bit of responsibility.
Do we talk about the rampant sexism behind this movie?
Yeah.
Do you know all that?
Kick us off.
You know all that stuff?
You mean with Alicia Silverstone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a name then.
Was it Schumacher or was it somebody else? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Schumacher was a big gay, I suppose, but he doesn't. I don't think that stops him from being a bit of a harasser boy, but
they basically bullied her for being too fat, right?
Yeah.
The idea. I'm just getting.
Oh right, yeah.
It's
got nothing to do with Schumacher being gay. Although that probably doesn't.
Well, no, that was what I was because he is a little bit more body conscious, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying who she actually blames before we blame anyone. It just says the media. It says the woman playing Batgirl would be called Fat Girl in the media, even by paparazzi photographers trying to get a picture. It would be easy for someone in a position to take the negativity to heart, but Silverstone says that while the comments did hurt, she was mostly able to keep everything in perspective, according to the former Batgirl. They would make fun of my body when I was younger. It was hurtful, but I knew they were wrong. I wasn't confused. I knew that it's not right to make fun of someone's body shape. That doesn't seem like the right thing to be doing to a human. Sorry, the right thing to be doing to a human. Read that badly.
Can I just say?
And then the comment underneath, one that you like, sorry, just before, says, can you even imagine what would have been like if Twitter had been a thing in the 90s? She'd probably be dead.
Yeah.
Fuck Twitter.
Alicia Silverstone, can I just say, is fucking gorgeous. Like, even now.
And she's very in shape in that movie.
Yeah. And, like
she
even
looks like
now,
she's wearing a goddamn
bit,
corset
like,
in that Batgirl scene.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so cool, old man.
It's fucking great. I didn't like her in the movie because I didn't think it was the best, but I like the...
as a kid, I liked it because
was,
as a kid, I just liked the action scenes, and I was like, I'm going to buy all these toys, and I was like,
yeah, exactly.
But then obviously going back and watching it with any level of adult brain is like, this is hard. This is hard to sit through.
And then you got Arnie, who is...
He has fun. I'll give him that.
Yeah, you can tell he's having fun, yeah. He's having a good time, bless him.
I think they just told him to have fun.
Fortunately, we weren't. Yeah.
But then they keep trying to put drama in him and it ruins him. Stuff with his wife, like, he doesn't act good.
No.
And he can act. He can act. I've seen him in other things where he's actually really
Arnie's a great
empathetic.
actor.
But you don't feel his sadness in this at all.
No, because
even when she actually dies, you're like, this is just really bad.
Yeah. He's just a clown. That's what I got for this.
Yes.
I'm about to fight Bane. I hope Bane's wearing his jacket and hat. I hope they've modded. I want to see there's a mod where Bane's just wearing all that. That would be great.
I would. If someone hasn't made that, someone please make that.
I'm going to have a look after.
If anyone's listening that can mod, please. Let's try and get some positives of these before we move away from these movies, I guess. So we've shat on it a lot, which I think is well deserved. But is there anything you like about these movies? Specifically Batman and Robin. But I guess both of them together, we can tie it in.
I mean, I can only say that they were great nostalgically, but I like them. I like them as I don't know. I suppose I think the music's okay. It's not Danny Elfman.
Yeah, I really
like
liked the music in specifically in Forever. Like I said, I can't really think of many, and I remember they do that. I'll see if you are as much of a nostalgia nerd as I am. The one that keeps coming back to me is they do that in all the fight scenes. It's like this big orchestral hit. It's like that thing. That comes back in Batman Forever a lot. In Batman and Robin, sorry. I think it originated in Batman Forever, but they use it a lot in the fights. And you get those little... there's like a trill that is like ring at the end of everything.
Yeah.
It's very iconic. Like, it clearly stuck with me because I can remember most of that. But it's definitely nothing on the Elfman ones. But I feel like it does have its place. And I feel like little bits of that got incorporated into Gotham too. I think there's a little bit of that. The rhythm of that first one I saw, the ding, da ding, da, comes in a little bit in Penguin's theme.
I like him.
Penguin's theme has the ding, da ding, da ding, da ding, da ding. Which kind of, I think there's a little bit of homage in there. The one I was going to go with is I think the aesthetic is still relatively nice. There's some terrible shit like bat nipples.
Yeah,
but I like what they did with Mr. Freeze. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the Freeze costume.
It's unique. I've never seen one like it.
Yeah.
It looks a bit dated now. I've got a picture of it up on my screen.
I mean, it wasn't like the big fishbowl kind of thing. It kind of looks...
It's ironically a little bit Mars Attacks.
Yeah, that's true actually, yeah.
But I think they incorporated elements of this into later designs because they kind of got rid of the fishbowl in some of them and brought in this kind of helmet vibe like he has.
Yeah.
Or at least they did something in between where it's like the fishbowl morphed to his head shape more.
Yeah, I think I'll give it that. I didn't mind the Ivy costume.
I was going to say Ivy looks good, as I've already said. I don't need to talk about that. I quite like all of her different costumes. I like that she has different costumes, and they all kind of represent seemingly different seasons of flower.
Yeah.
Like,
what are they?
She has a very red-themed one that's more summery that she wears near the middle, and then there's a bit where she's seducing Robin near the end, and she has like a dark red and orange.
That's
like a fall autumn vibe. That's how I always read it. Is there were like phases of plant, you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously freeze is the winter, I guess.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's true.
maybe I'm looking too much into the themes there, but that's how I always read it. Is, you know, she's meant to be the summer and he's meant to be the winter, and at the end we see her fall, which is the autumn colours, which is when she actually is defeated.
And of course, there's the iconic line, as I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show. I always loved that line, I don't know why.
Yeah, she's bad, she's terrible.
Yeah.
The Batman suits are a bit bad in this, I'll be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't really like them.
I think that goes without saying, doesn't it?
I saw what he was going for in them, with the little bits of silver on them that match up, but it made good toys for kids, I guess. That was what they were going.
Why don't I get a car? Chicks dig a car. This is why Superman works alone.
This is why he's James Hurley.
This is why you're James Hurley.
I didn't realise they put nipples on Batgirl's costume too. Christ.
Yeah. I got an achievement called Baneful Paper.
I'm just saying, I didn't notice that as a kid. To be fair, everything was in terrible low resolution, so I probably wouldn't have noticed the nipples even if they were there. It's not like these modern days of HD. Blu-ray titties. So yeah, I guess that's our retrospective of those.
We'll begin to close this episode. The first of two parts.
First of two.
I'm heading to Dead Man's Point.
Hope you've enjoyed.
Yeah, it's obviously, like we said at the start, it's a bit of a brief touch on everything because it's a heavy topic to get into.
Yeah.
But you know, we're reviewing 4 movies in the amount of time we'd usually do 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But I think we were pretty comprehensive.
Quite well.
Yeah. It's more about our feelings than anything, because
the
objective aspect of these movies, you can pretty much rate them pretty quickly, which I think we did. We talked about what was objectively good in them, and then after that, it's like, what's the redeeming features, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
What's the bits that nostalgically hold up? What's the stuff that still makes you have a chuckle, even though you know it's bad?
Yeah. They're nice to look back on.
So we might be a bit more objective in part 2, because the Nolan movies are objectively better movies. There's a bit more to talk about. I think we're pretty objective with the Burton ones. It's just hard to be too objective with these last 2 without just saying they're bad.
Yeah. Haha, laugh.
We could spend 3 hours saying they're bad because of this, and there's a scene where this, and this. But I feel like it'd be a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
And everybody else has probably already done it at this point. So instead, we'll talk about what we liked and didn't like about them, because at least that's unique content.
Exactly.
Don't judge us!
We hope you've enjoyed, though.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye!
Bye!